The CEO of Société Générale, one of the oldest, most powerful banks in Europe, picks up his phone. His risk team is on the line. They don't say good morning. They say, we have a problem. That problem has a name. Jérôme Kerviel, a 31-year-old junior trader, a nobody, a man who earned $66,000 a year, and in a single morning, he had just lost his bank $6.7 billion. Not millions, billions, with a B. More money than the GDP of some countries. Gone. Before most people had finished their coffee. This is not a story about a criminal mastermind. This is not an Ocean's 11 heist. This is something far more terrifying because it was completely invisible until it was already too late. To understand how this happened, you need to understand who Jérôme Kerviel was, and more importantly, who he wasn't. He wasn't a Wall Street wolf. He wasn't a reckless billionaire playboy gambling with other people's money for sport. He grew up in a small town in Brittany, France. His mother was a hairdresser. His father was a blacksmith. He studied finance at a mid-tier university, not the elite École Polytechnique that produced Société Générale's power players. When he joined the bank in 2000, he didn't start on the trading floor. He started in the back office, the unglamorous department that processes and verifies trades made by the real traders upstairs. This is the detail that changes everything. For 5 years, Kerviel sat in the back office, learning exactly how the verification system worked. He learned which checks triggered alerts. He learned which patterns raised red flags. He learned the precise thresholds that would make a compliance officer pick up the phone. Then, in 2005, he got promoted to the trading floor, and he took every single thing he'd learned in the back office with him. Kerviel's job was simple: make small, hedged bets on European stock market futures, buy on one side, sell on the other, keep the risk balanced, collect small, consistent profits. Nothing glamorous. But Kerviel had a problem, and it wasn't greed in the traditional sense. It was ego. He was smarter than his position suggested. He could see market movements his colleagues missed. He started making unauthorized bets, small ones, at first that weren't hedged, pure directional gambles, and they worked. So he made bigger ones, and they worked too. By the end of 2007, Kerviel had quietly accumulated 50 billion euros in unauthorized positions. That is more than the entire market value of Société Générale itself. He was essentially running a secret fund inside the bank, larger than the bank. How did no one see it? Here's the forensic truth. He used everything he learned in the back office to make his positions look legitimate. He created fictitious hedging trades, fake offsetting positions that existed only on paper to make his risk exposure appear balanced. When one fake trade was about to be verified, he'd cancel it and replace it with another. He was running a shell game inside the world's financial infrastructure. The compliance alerts fired multiple times. His managers asked questions multiple times. Each time, Kerviel had a clean technical answer ready because he knew exactly what answer would satisfy the system. He had spent 5 years learning how to write it. January 19th, 2008. A Saturday, a routine compliance check flags one of Kerviel's fictitious hedges. This time, the counterparty, the other side of the fake trade, confirms they have no record of it. The trade doesn't exist. Société Générale's risk team pulls the thread. The entire 50 billion euro position unravels in front of them over the weekend. Senior executives are called in. Emergency meetings run through Sunday night. The question on the table isn't just, what do we do with Kerviel? It's, how do we unwind 50 billion euros in secret positions without destroying the global market? Because here's what made this truly catastrophic. Those positions were real bets on real markets. European index futures. And the market was already falling. It was the beginning of the 2008 financial crisis. They had to sell everything fast, quietly. January 21st to 23rd, 2008, while Kerviel was suspended and being questioned, Société Générale's traders began systematically unwinding his positions, dumping 50 billion euros worth of futures into an already panicking market. On January 21st, global markets experienced one of their sharpest single-day drops in years. Analysts called it a mystery. The U.S. Federal Reserve made an emergency interest rate cut, the largest emergency cut in over 2 decades, partly in response to the market chaos. The Fed cut rates because of a trade Jérôme Kerviel made from a desk in Paris. By the time it was over, the losses crystallized at 4.9 billion euros, $6.7 billion, the largest rogue trading loss in banking history at that time. In 2010, Kerviel was convicted of breach of trust, forgery, and unauthorized computer use. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison and ordered to repay Société Générale 4.9 billion euros on a $66,000 salary. He would need to work for 177,000 years to pay it back. But here's where the story gets complicated and where the forensic forensic evidence becomes genuinely uncomfortable. Kerviel's defense wasn't, "I didn't do it." It was, "They knew." He claimed his supervisors were aware of his outsized positions because they were generating enormous profits. In 2007 alone, his unauthorized trades made the bank 1.4 billion euros in profits. His managers celebrated. His bonus was discussed. Nobody asked too many questions when the number on the screen was green. A French appeals court later ruled that Société Générale bore partial responsibility, reducing Kerviel's civil damages. The bank had ignored warning signs because the warning signs came wrapped in profit. This is the forensic detail that rewrites the entire story. The same system that failed to catch $6.7 billion in losses had already collected $1.4 billion in gains from the exact same trades. The bank didn't miss the risk. The bank chose not to see it until it couldn't look away. 3 things this case permanently changed. 1. Back office experience is now considered a security risk. Banks today actively monitor employees who rotate from compliance roles to trading roles. The knowledge Kerviel used to hide his trades is now itself a red flag. 2. Profit is not proof of legitimacy. The fact that unauthorized trades were making money was used as a reason not to investigate them. Every major bank rewrote its compliance protocols to require verification, regardless of whether a position was profitable. 3. The system's blind spot wasn't technical, it was psychological. Every alert that fired was answered. Every question was satisfied. The vulnerability wasn't in the code. It was in the fact that nobody wanted to find a problem when the numbers looked good. Jérôme Kerviel didn't steal $6.7 billion. He lost it on bets he genuinely believed would pay off. He walked out of prison in 2014. He now works as an IT consultant. Société Générale survived barely. They raised 5.5 billion euros in emergency capital within weeks of the scandal breaking. The markets recovered, but the question that the Kerviel case permanently burned into financial history remains unanswered. If the trades had kept making money, how long would the bank have let it run? We already know the answer. We just don't like saying it out loud.